second motion, T07-017, to approve mandatory student charges and bring board rates for academic year 2008.
Motion on the table is moved. Seconded. Discussion. Is she? I'm sure you're ready.
Yes, I'm ready. And I would also like to say that I do know that the speakers who were intended, they were on the agenda earlier. I know that they intended to speak toward the question of student fees, so I don't know if it might be possible to recognize them at this time.
Why don't you make your comments and we'll see if we have time, and if we do, we certainly will.
Okay. And I'm sure that Alex will have comments as well. So I first want to start by saying that we could clearly argue about the specifics of the statistics that we've been presented with. We could argue that, in fact, when you look at the total increases in housing charges, meal plan, and fees at UMass Amherst campus, that in fact the total overall package is going up almost 5%, which is more than the rate of inflation that we've been talking about. We could cite the fact that even if 25% of the increased revenue that's being made off the increase in student fees was redirected toward financial aid, that in fact the bottom line for students receiving financial aid on the Amherst campus would still increase. But for me, that's simply not the point. The point is that for current students enrolled in the University of Massachusetts Amherst, even for the very most financially needy students on campus, they're faced with a gap of over $2,600 after their expected family contribution, after all financial aid monies, all loan monies are taken into account. That's $2,600 that they literally have to come up with out of thin air. For students in the middle economic brackets who have some financial aid, that gap goes up to $5,361. So even with all the wonderful rhetoric that we've been presented with today, the fact of the matter is that there are students at the University of Massachusetts Amherst campus who are being priced out of a degree. And as we increase the overall amount of fees, the subsidies going to those students do not solve that fundamental problem that they're being asked to come up with money out of thin air. And that what we are fundamentally faced with today is a problem of supply and demand. And what I see as happening in this board and in this university system is that because the university system can get away with increasing fees because there is enough demand out there, when we look at the freshman application pool, which the chair and the president have noted is up 15% this year, that the university simply can afford to increase fees every year. But the problem is the exact students that are being shut out with these fee increases are the exact students that this university needs to be educating the most. In Massachusetts, our natural resource is the brain power. It is the future youth of this Commonwealth, and it's working class students, it's immigrant students, it's students of color who are being shut out with these fee increases, even if there are enough out-of-state students, and even if there are enough suburban students who are willing to apply to the university and pay the increased costs. So if I had a vote at this meeting today, I would strongly vote